Hey friends, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing good. First thing first, I have my new EP out on Storytellers. If you want to check it out or support, you find the link to Storytellers Bandcamp in the description. I'm very happy to be out with Storytellers because I've been admiring their work, sharing good music on their YouTube channel for years. And so being able to release music with them is a great honor for me. If you want to stay updated on good music, definitely check their YouTube channel. If you don't know them yet, you will find a lot of good music and fresh music because they share always new music. About the title of this video, it's a little bit clickbait, I know, but it's what it is. I was reading this Traumer's interview on Sample Market blog, and he was saying how much he liked Bazille, this synthesizer by Yuhi. And so since I had never tried it, I was really curious, and I asked Yuhi to let me try it and showcase it on my YouTube channel. They kindly agreed, so thanks Yuhi for making this video possible. Another plugin that I show you in the video is Guitar Rig 6 by Native Instruments. Is also mentioned by Traumer in the interview. I've already been using it and it's crazy good because it's made for guitar, but it has some very crazy effects that can literally change your sound. So Guitar Rig 6 on top of Bazille make a explosive combination. So let's get into the video. So here I have the project. Drums are made of one main loop, which is from Traumer's pack, and then kick plus something else. I didn't spend too much time on drums, so I used a loop because I wanted to focus on the synths part. This is how everything sounds, Traumer's loop, and everything else, that's the drum loop. Bazille, it's a modular synthesizer. It's not like analog modular synthesizer, but it's based on two synth engines which work with phase modulation and phase distortion. You can achieve very, very complicated sounds with this kind of synthesis. Just to mention, phase modulation is the synthesis that you find in the Yamaha DX7, while phase distortion is the synthesis model that you find in the Casio CZ. On top of that, it's a modular synthesizer, so you can decide how to patch it, how to route the signal inside the synthesizer, and so that opens up to infinite possibilities, and that's why I think this is a very versatile synthesizer. It's quite complicated. I read all the manual, but still I'm not a sound designer. I can now understand a bit of how patches are made, but still I rely on patches. And if you're not a sound designer as well, like me, you can rely on stock library, which is very nice. But also I bought the Bazille Cookbook, which is a collection of other sounds made from Yuhi. And also they give you a manual which explains you how some patches are made, so you can learn yourself how to program it. So it's very educational, and I think that's cool because not every company does that, so that's interesting. And also I have external patches, external library, so there's a lot of stuff if you don't want to sound design yourself. Just a quick run through. You can see there are 4 oscillators. Every oscillator has, as I told you, a wave engine with phase distortion integrated, and also phase modulation, and also this function fractalize, which is another modulation of the sound that can add even more possibilities. Then you have 2 LFOs, utility modules, like you see here, 4 envelopes, filter section with 4 filters. First and second you control it here, the third and fourth you control it here on the second page. Then you have multiplex, which is a mixer but also a ring modulator. You can use it as a ring modulator or an amplitude modulator. Sequencer is the most interesting part, I think, because you can sequence, you can create different sequence, up to 8 different sequence, and morph between each of them. And also you can control with this sequence, you can route them wherever you want, so you can basically sequence everything. On the second page, voice, pitch, glide, you know what they mean. Stacked voice tuning, you can create with multiple voices, you can create chords. These are two, let's say, step modulators, and you can patch them to whatever you want. So you can modulate things through these step modulators. Envelope 1, 2, 3, and 4 controls on the trigger. So how it's envelope triggered by the gate in this case, or by these steps, or by other inputs like LFO, loop, etc. And ramp generator. And on the bottom line you have effects. I can't explain more in depth than this, because that will take hours. And I'm not very expert. I will just show you a few examples how I made some sounds from scratch, how I modified some patches to achieve a certain sound, and also a couple of examples on how to start from a patch and extract what you like from the patch. So let's start now from the bass line. First bass line that I did was this one, actually, which is a little bit more complicated, as you can see, but then I went for a simpler one, which is this one. And this is made in a very, very simple way. Actually, I started from an ini patch, which is basically like this. Okay, so when you start the ini patch, you have just oscillator 1 going inside output 1, so straight out of the synthesizer. Basically the main part is this one, where you pick the waveform that you want. In this case it's a saw waveform, but the actual waveform that you picked is reached when you have the maximum amount of phase distortion. So when you are all the way up like this. And this is a saw wave. Let me enlarge the screen so you can see better. Okay, but if you take away the phase distortion, basically it's always a sine wave. So every waveform you pick here, it's a sine wave. Now, if you add a little bit of phase distortion, you start blending between this sine wave and a saw wave, and in this position, I found a very nice and warm sound. It's subby, but still has some harmonics that help you to listen to the sound and listen it very clearly on any type of monitors. And this is what I did here. I didn't do anything else. The phase here doesn't do anything. It starts affecting the sound only when you move it as the sound is going. But if I leave it here or here, it doesn't change anything, because it basically changed only the phase of the sound, which doesn't mean very much when it's fixed. Okay, so that's for the bass sound. Now I'll go on this synth sound, which is the second sound that I made with Bazille. So this is a chord, as you can hear. It's made with one note, but inside Bazille we have a chord. And this patch is called Halloween. So this is how it sounds, and I just added this B repeater with -12 semitones repeat. So it adds this nice effect. Also, I did resampled this sound with another setting with the beat repeater, and I achieved this sound. And this is where Guitar Rig comes in. I found this nice effect which changed quite a lot the original sound. It's called BC Old Americans. It's inside modulated type of effects. It looks like a talk box a little bit. And this together with the original synth is very nice, because it's a sort, I changed the starting point so they do a sort of answer and question and answer. Let's unmute. Very nice. Then I added a simple stub, which I don't know if I should keep it or not, but it's just a chord with some effect. I'm liking a lot this repeat effect on a lot of sounds lately. Just made it with another patch. Then I tried to do another sound by myself, starting from scratch, and it's a sort of snare, because I wanted to try to make snare or hi-hats with the noise generator inside Bazille, and a sort of fart came out, so I don't know if it's really nice, but it adds a little bit of groove to the overall sound. This is made in a very simple way. It's made with a white noise going inside a filter, which I modulate with the velocity. You can modulate filter one with two different parameters. A third one can modulate the resonance, and also you can have key follow. So the higher the key you press, the higher the modulation. So I use the velocity to modulate the cutoff and also the envelope. So it starts with an open filter and then it closes a little bit. Then what else? I use a waveform also that goes inside filter 2 to add that note that you hear. This note here. Just to add a tone to the snare. And that's it, very simple. But here you can see how you can approach the synthesis in the modular way. Now we're going to add this perk. Again, I started from this algebra polyclick sequencer. This is not included in the stock library, it's an external one. I think I didn't change anything from the original patch. And then this is probably my favorite pad that I happen to find in the stock library. This is called AZ 1984, so very vintage sounding pad. Simply didn't do anything as well here. I simply modulated the cutoff, and this is recorded inside the MIDI clip. So this is how this sounds. Want to add a little bit more character. In my case, I added the auto filter with the OSR drive, but nothing else. I just made a minor 7th chord and played it. It's just a single note, but it's actually making a chord. It's very generet style, I'd say. Then I have this arpeggiated sound. And at this point I wanted to enrich a little bit the sound with guitar rig effect. I just quickly tried so we could go through different effects together. This is a little bit extreme. Yeah, so let's look for another one. Yeah, this is not bad. So this is with the effect, and this is without. So it definitely adds something. It's more dreamy. Okay, and the last one effect, the last sound that I added is a melody, because I am trying to try different options for melodies. I'd like to add some melodies in my tracks, maybe in the breaks, in order to make them to make people remember them a little bit easier. This is just an idea that I tried very quickly. This is the starting patch. It's very similar to a guitar. Let's try to add a little bit of phase modulation. Let's see what happens. Ooh. Definitely too much. And then I added a guitar rig effect, which is made from a preset, but then I added a crybaby, cry-wah. Crybaby is the name of a famous wah-wah pedal. If you play guitar, you probably know it. This is called cry-wah, and it's connected to an LFO. This is the thing that I added because all the rest is from the preset. See how it sounds. Maybe this could be in the break. Okay, one thing that I need to say, I was forgetting about Bazille. It's that it's quite CPU consuming, but it has a function to attenuate a little bit this consumption, which is the multi-core function. So basically, you spread the amount of computational weight to the different cores of your processors. I think every computer now has a multi-core processor, so this shouldn't create problems. Let's see if I did it in the pods. No, it's off, and I will show you how much this changed on the CPU level. This is with this off, so it's about, well, it's very high. If I switch it on, it goes down to 30, so it's very efficient the way it works. So that's it. This is a track that came out at the end. I really like the pads in particular and the bass line. Now, the last thing that I want to show you before saying bye-bye is how you can extract good sounds from single sounds from Bazille patches. So let's start from this patch here. I have a kick. So this is what you can do with a patch on Bazille. Basically, it's almost a track, a loop, okay? So now I want to extract the kick because it looks like a very professional kick. So I tried to see how it was patched, and I found out that this is the oscillator that makes the kick sound, basically. So we can both lower the volume of all the others, all the other oscillator. You can do it from the oscillator itself or from this multiplex. Basically, you close all the sounds that you don't want, but I'll do it by here. So This one has a volume modulation. This is modulated by the envelope, and then the volume goes up and down. So we'll take away this modulation. So you should get rid of something. Same thing here and here. So still have this white noise. So here, same, we can take out the patch and take it out from here, but still we have something. So let's try to do it from here, from the multiplex. I lower all the volumes until I get rid of that sound. This doesn't make anything because there's anything plugged. Let's see if this is off. Let's see if that's this. No, this is the kick volume. Okay, we found it. So now we have just a kick. And let's also take away all the effects. So you can hear that the sound changes a little bit from one beat to the other, but we could sample it and extract a very nice kick. This is the volume modulation. I think this kick is very nice. And now I want to show you an even crazier patch, which is this one. You do this with just one synth, and this one is very similar to this loop, to be honest. So not identical, but very similar. What we can do here, we can extract a snare. I particularly like the snare here, so let's go inside the patch. We'll do the same thing. So this is the snare. We can also change how this is. As you can see, this rotates. So basically it moves through all these different sequencer configuration. This is the kick part. This is the snare part. This is the kick part. So and if we want control the snare hit, we need to take a look at number 2, because this is where the snare hits. So now we learned how to use this sequencer a bit, but that's not what I wanted to do. So let's get rid of the kick, for example. Nice. Let's also get rid of the effects for now. And let's take away also this white noise sound. From where? Let's see from where, because I don't know. Okay, this. So this goes inside the filter, then from the filter it goes inside this multiplex. Okay. We took it away. So if we want this to not rotate, we just delete this. And now we can control how this behave, and we can resample this, and we have a nice super nice snare. So guys, Hope you liked this video. Hope you saw a little bit how cool is this plugin. If you're interested in trying it, you find the link to the website in the description. The demo version is full functioning. It has all the functions. The only thing is that it has a noise from time to time, but you can use it forever. And subscribe to the channel, like the video, help this channel to grow a little bit more, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys, bye bye.